got a whole lot of money. Whole lot of money. I got a whole lot of money. Whole lot of money. I got a whole lot of money. You can't hold nothing from me. I got a whole lot of money. I got a whole lot of money. I got a whole lot of money.
What is up, fellas? It's your boy Vincor. Welcome to the Pineapple Squad Fantasy Football Podcast, Week 2 edition. That's right. Second week of the season. We made it, and it was a great week. It was a crazy week. Upsets in the league, upsets in the actual NFL, injuries all over the place. We had some blowouts. We had some close matchups. We're going to get to all of it. It was a great week. This weekend, we got to do Brown's diaper party, baby shower diaper party at Outerville. Got to watch some football. It was a good time. We got to watch MJ rage over the Steelers. That was a good time. Our boy Brown finally did it. He finally got his ban from Twitter after all these years. He finally got his 24-hour ban. Proud of you for that one, buddy. We're going to get into these scores, though. Lots of injuries this week. The 49ers are on their sixth-string running back right now. My boy Jarvis went out. We had quarterbacks going down all over the place. It was not a great week for injuries, but we made it. We made it through. We're all good. We made it, and that's what's important. So I'm going to get into these scores real quick. We'll make this a quick one. We're going to look at the standings, that waiver wire. I don't know what happened with the waiver wire last night. I wasn't paying attention. Did someone spend an obscene amount of money for a third-string wide receiver? Possibly. Who knows? Guess we'll have to wait and see. All right. Let's get into these scores real quick. We're going to start, as we always do, with our matchup of the week. Once I get this. Boom. Boom. All right, perfect. Our matchup of the week, it was a battle between two teams who started the season really differently. You had the Banana Boy, who put up over 200 points, absolutely took it to Skip. And then Coach Taylor, who had a disappointing performance from a couple of his top guys in week 1. He ended up losing a close one to Gibbsy. So two different starts to the season here. Both these guys looking for the W this week. We'll start with Coach Taylor. His boy Justin Herbert, he's looking to bounce back from a slow week 1. Herbie ends up throwing 330 yards. But disappointingly, he only throws 1 touchdown. He has 2 interceptions and finishes the loss to Dim Boys with 16 points. That is no good. One bright spot for Coach Taylor. Mike Williams, also on that Chargers team. He caught that lone touchdown. He had 6 more receptions for 91 yards. Boy ended up with 22 points on the day. Looks like a solid pick by Coach Taylor there. He's a good number 2 to Keenan Allen. Some other highlights for the Sweet Judy Blue Balls. Noah Fant finds the end zone against Jacksonville, finishes with 13 points. Dalvin Cook, one of the injuries we talked about. Dalvin Cook went out for a little bit with tweaked his ankle a little, but he still got 148 yards and 16 points. He couldn't find the end zone, but 16 points isn't bad. He got 0 help from his running back depth here. If you look at this, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, CEH's bum ass, he got shut down against the Ravens. He only had 46 yards. He had a fumble. Miles Sanders, the Eagles looked terrible in general, but Miles Sanders was bad. He finishes with just 6.9 points. So not a great overall day for Coach Taylor. Doesn't really leave anything on his bench. Teddy Bridgewater with 25 points. I don't know if you're starting Teddy Bridgewater over Justin Herbert just quite yet. We take a look at the Banana Man. His team anchored this week, as always, by the fucking golden god of football himself, TB12, who threw for 276 yards and 5 touchdowns against those Dirty Birds. My man went off. He had 24 completions and 5 touchdowns, which means he was basically throwing a touchdown every 5th pass that he threw, if my math is correct, and it usually is not. He finishes the day with 39 points. CMC getting in on the action. 72 yards on the ground, 65 in the air, and a tutty for 24 points. Tyler Lockett had himself a day, 8 receptions, 178 yards, and a score. He gets himself a nice 31 points. Calvin Ridley adds 19 in their loss to the Buccaneers. Debo, 6 receptions for 93 yards and 16 points. Banana leaves 17 points on his bench from Marvin. Not really anything else. Tannehill had a shitty day. He didn't need those 17 points, though. He had a nice cushion there. He won 161.7 to 101. So Vinny Bananas continues his strong start to the season. And Ange is over here going to be desperate for his first win in week 3. Let's see. Our next game, we got Mr. Twitter himself. Mr. I harassed the AD at Miami so much that they banned me for 24 hours. Brone Luciano against Ian Hahn Gibbsy Gibbs. The champ Brone continues his bid for a repeat. He had a weird week, though. Half the dudes on his team went fucking hammer time, and the other half look like they're trying to be on the practice squad for Miami Hurricanes football. Kyler Murray, dude was almost unstoppable against the Vikings. That ended up being a close game, but Kyler looked amazing. 400 yards, 3 passing touchdowns. He had another touchdown on the ground, ended up with 39 points. The Chargers lost to Dallas, and Austin Eckler didn't really have lots to do in the actual game on the scoreboard, but for fantasy-wise, he did have a big volume day. Dude has 9 catches for 61 yards and 22 points. Mike Evans, Brone's boy, Tampa had a huge game against the Falcons. He ends up with 5 catches for 75 yards, gets 2 touchdowns, and 24 points. Travis Kelce, 24 points, which is standard for him, 7 catches and a touchdown. That was pretty much it for Brone. Those were his big scores. The rest of the scrubs, you had David Montgomery barely getting over 10 points. That's your second running back. You want him to do a little better than that. Claypool, Pittsburgh didn't look great. Claypool had under 10 points. Devonta Smith, only 3 points. And Cole Beasley's unvaccinated mullet with only 7 points. To make it worse, Brone's entire bench, let's see here. Brone's entire bench put up 14.2 points. That is gross. Oh, my bad. Your kicker did get 13 points. Brandy McMandy, look at that. All right. Let's go to Gibbs' team now. He started 1-0, and he looked good again this week. Lamar Jackson over here looking like the MVP again against the Chiefs in that win. He had 3 total touchdowns, over 100 yards on the ground. He's getting RB1 points there, 33 points. King Henry had himself a day. My dude got a slow start, but my man was killing it in the second half of the game. Finishes with 182 yards, 3 touchdowns, 47 points. That is disgusting. Courtland Sutton, he goes off on the Jags. He was 9 for 159, 25 points. Adam Thielen for the Vikings, he had 16 points against the Cardinals. Not a bad day for him. Tyreek Hill, he had a slow week, not a great game. He only had 6 points, but that was enough for Gibbsy. He puts Brone away 163.2 to 154.8. So Gibbs moves to 2-0, and the champ drops to 500 in week 2. Our closest matchup this week, this was my match. Our closest matchup this week was myself, the very real, tangible Vincor. I went up against the still probably not real, exists only in the Matrix and MJ's mind, Tyler. This one literally came down to 2 minutes left in the game of the last game of the week on Monday night. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's take a look at these Sunday numbers. Patrick Mahomes, The Chiefs lose a close one against the Ravens. My boy didn't have a bad day. 343 yards, 3 touchdowns for 29 points. That's about standard for him. Nick Chubb had me worried for most of the day. My dude only had 6 points in the third quarter, and then he broke a couple long ones, broke a long touchdown run. He finishes with 95 yards and a rushing touchdown, salvages 16 points. I could have used a couple more. Najee getting involved in the offense. Not a lot of rushing yards, but he had 5 receptions and a receiving touchdown for 19 points. It's not bad. Second game for the rookie. Keenan Allen with 14. DJ Moore had a great game, 21 points. He went 8 for 79 and a touchdown. Pat's trying to trade for DJ Moore, but I play him this week, so that's not happening. That's the last thing I need is to get that bad juju. And 16 points from T. Higgins, who is surprising me for the Bengals. I was expecting him to be good. I don't know if I was expecting him to be that good, but he's had a couple really good weeks. Obviously, my only 1.9 points from Jarvis really hurts. He got injured first drive of the game. That absolutely fucked me in the end. And then Jason Sanders, bum ass. Not really his fault. Miami couldn't do anything against Buffalo. Tua going down. He's one of the injuries this week. He gets 0 points. That's fantastic. Let's go over and look at Tyler's team. Jalen Hurts just has an okay day. The Eagles offense really didn't look that great. He has 190 yards. He does have a rushing touchdown, ends up with 21 points. Jonathan Taylor not doing shit. 6 points, only has 51 yards on the ground. He does have big games from Brandon Cooks, who puts 22 points. He had 78 and a touchdown. TJ Hawkinson fucked me on Monday night. TJ Hawkinson seems to be their big offensive weapon there. And then DeAndre Swift also in that game. DeAndre Swift only finishes 11 points. Man, I watched that game and it really looked like he was touching the ball a lot, but only finishes 11 points. Devontae Adams, big game, 20 points, 121 yards through the air. Tyler's not really leaving anything on the bench here. 15 points from Zach Moss, but you're not starting Zach Moss over JT or DeAndre Swift, at least not quite yet. And 10 points from his kicker, Greg Zuerlein. The Packers couldn't get one more first down with 2.5 minutes left. They kind of fucked me. He ends up getting a couple receptions from Hawkinson and Swift, and he wins 133.5 to 130.5. I got to give it to you. You won. Cheers. Congratulations. Fantasy football is a cruel mistress. I can take it. I'm used to losing. Our next matchup pits the Zeke Blinders, Bear Rigsby, against Clint, my Stafford's hard man. Clint won last week. Clint lost last week. Bear lost also. So we had 2 0-1 teams that were looking for their first win. We'll start with Bear's team real quick. Dak Prescott, man, this is a crazy game. The Cowboys end up winning this one 20-17. Dak only has 237 yards, no touchdowns, throws an interception, only ends up with 7 points. So they win the game, put up 20 points. He does nothing. They win the game, put up 20 points. Zeke really does nothing. This was kind of like the Eckler thing. It's sneaky, 17 points. But my dude only had 71 yards on the ground. He did sneak in for a touchdown. Tony Pollard on my bench had more points than Zeke. I might be starting that dude this week. Joe Mixon only 8 points. It's kind of disappointing for you. Your big scorers, Deontay got his normal double-digit targets. He had 9 receptions for 105 yards. Chris Godwin, everyone on Tampa Bay, put up points this week, 4 for 62 and a touchdown. And then you're not really getting anything from Jamal Williams. Logan Thomas, only 9.5 points. Didn't really leave anything on the bench. Sterling Shepard, 17.5 points. Maybe you plug him in next week. I don't know. I don't know who you're replacing. And then the kicker not doing anything. Go down to Clint's team here. Russ has a nice game, 26 points. He has 343 yards, 2 touchdowns. Saquon, still limiting him. He only had 13 carries for 57 yards, 8.9 points. Big scores here. You got Terry Mack, had a big game on Thursday night. That kind of fucked me in my other league. 27 points there, 12.5 points from Chase Edmonds. He gets 46 yards on the ground, 29 through the air, 5 receptions. Laviska Shenault Jr., I believe he was another one of the injuries. He only has 1.7 points and 5.8 from Jared Cook. Those are your two disappointments. What are we leaving on the bench here? Henry Ruggs, 22 points. He did have a big game against Pittsburgh. I get why you don't want to play him, though. You have faith in that Pittsburgh secondary. I do, too. I don't want to play my guy next week against Pittsburgh secondary. The Pittsburgh defense, I don't think looks that bad. But he lit him up a little bit. And then Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown's on your bench. He has a nice game, 113 yards and a touchdown in that game against Kansas City. Clint's team does get it done, though. Bear has the low score for the week, I believe. 99 points would be the low score for the week. It is. And Clint wins this one 120-99. Our last game of the week. So let me go to it. Boom. Our last game of the week. This is, you can already kind of see the result here by MJ's team name. This was going to be MJ against Pat. MJ had the lead going into Monday night. I think we know what happened, though. It was not good for the Pineapple. MJ starting it off here. Josh Allen has really a mediocre day. Only 20 points, 179 yards, 2 touchdowns. He throws a pick. They do win 35-0, though. He really didn't have to be throwing the ball much in the second half. So what are you going to do, right? Alvin Kamara, that offense looked absolutely abysmal. I don't know what you can say about that. 7 points, 5 rushing yards, 4 receptions. It was just a disaster all the way through. DeAndre Hopkins has a nice game, 15 points. He has 4 for 54 and a touchdown. You get a nice game from Justin Jefferson. Cooper Kupp absolutely went off against Indianapolis. He has 163 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then you have Kyle Pitts getting double digits there. That's nice to see for the rookie, 5 for 73. You leaving on your bench, Juju had 16 points. James White had 18 points. Man, I don't know why you have James White on your team. Any New England running back, you don't ever know if you're going to start him or not. If the week you do start him, they're not going to do anything. And then when they're sitting on your bench like this, it's 18 points. I don't know what the point is. Drives me crazy. And, you have both New England running backs. Well, that's real fucking smart, huh? And they're both on your bench. Jesus Christ. All right, whatever. You know what? It's your team. Okay. I'm flabbergasted by that. I didn't realize you had 2 New England running backs both on your bench. That's amazing. Okay. So here's what happened, right? So MJ's leading going into Sunday night, and then we all saw that. Well, if you saw the game, Packers went off in the second half. Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones for Pat, give him 75 points in one game, just between those two dudes. A-Rod, 255 yards, 4 touchdowns, 34 points. A. Jones, 67 yards on the ground, 1 rushing touchdown, and 3 receiving touchdowns. That's right. Pat's running back had 6 receptions. 3 of them were for touchdowns. He had 41 points. Going through the rest of his team, Gronk had a great day, 2 touchdowns, and that went over the Falcons, 19 points. CeeDee Lamb, 8 for 81, 17 points. Julio Jones, who I talked shit about last week, of course, he comes out and does 6 for 128 and 18 points. But that just means next week he's not going to do anything because that's classic Julio. And Bobby Trees get you 12 points. Nice little addition there. What are you leaving on your bench here? Darrell Henderson. I love Darrell Henderson. 17 points. Robert Tonyan. Man, you should have played him. You would have had fucking 90 points in that game. That's pretty much it. Pat ends up winning this one 174-124. And all of these the 74 points here came on Monday night. So MJ is the 0-2 gang, moves to 0-2. Pat moves to 500. I know I kind of already told you where everyone sits, but let's take a look at the standings here. We have 3 teams that are undefeated. We have the Vinny Bananas. We have Gibbsy and Tyler, fake Tyler / MJ's second team. We have 4 teams sitting at 1-1, and we have 3 teams that will be looking for their first win next week. That is MJ, Bear, and Coach Taylor. Let's look at the waiver wire action. So I did it differently this week. I just went ahead and pulled up the offer sheet here because you can do this. I got Rondale Moore. Man, I tell you what, I was spooked. MJ was talking so much shit in the bar. telling me I need to put more money to actually, I don't think he really told me that. He did though. He said someone, Andrew or Bear, somebody was going to put $50 on it. I'm like, well, shit. So $36 for Rondale Moore. I'm not mad about it. I need another receiver now that my boy Jarvis is on the shelf for 3 weeks. I'm still waiting on Michael Thomas to come back. So $36 for Rondale. Tyler adds Michael Pittman Jr. for $21. That's a little bit more reasonable price than what I paid. He drops Philip Lindsay. We have, this has always confused me. Gibbs, change your damn team name, man. Every time I see that, I think it's Andrew's team. The trade rape of Andrew Rigsby. Gibbsy picks up Michael Carter for $10, drops Le'Veon Bell. Who else we got here? Cordarrelle Patterson. I'm surprised Cordarrelle Patterson only went for $8. Is this right? Added, yes. Cordarrelle Patterson only goes for $8 to Pat. He drops Terrence Marshall. Hunter Renfrow goes for $4. Gibbsy also picks up Derek Carr for $4. Daniel Carlson. Someone's paying money for a kicker. Good Lord. Of course, it's Vinny Bananas. $1 for a kicker. All right. We had a bunch of guys no one paid any money for. AJ Green going to Bear. Sorry, dropped. I think that's it. I'm confusing myself by reading this. This is very confusing. Maybe it's just me. You guys know I'm not that bright. I do my best, though. I really do. I do this for you guys. I love you guys. All right, let's go to the matchup of the week, and I'll get you guys out of here. Matchup of the week, kind of similar to last week. I'm going to go the team that's undefeated and a team that's still looking for his first win. We're going to see if Tyler's for real. He's had a couple good weeks. He barely won this last matchup by the skin of his teeth. Literally 2 minutes left in the game. He wins that one. So he could very easily be 500 right now. Jalen Hurts against Dallas on Monday night. It's going to be interesting. See if primetime Jalen shows up. And then Bear looking for his first win. Bear is a little surprising. I know this has nothing to do with who's on his team, but just the way Bear usually drafts and puts his team together, he usually always has a really good team, and then he falls apart in the playoffs. But, he's getting off to a rough start this year. So we're going to see if Bear can turn the season around in week 3. That's going to be our matchup of the week. All right. I don't know what I'm doing. Here we go. Oh, I got it. Boom. I forgot how to use Zoom for a second. I haven't done this in too long. All right. That's it, man. Hey, I love you guys. Hope you guys have a great week 3. I'll be camping with Hooch and Baby Mama. I'll see a couple of you guys for a fantasy hockey draft maybe next week, maybe sometime. We got hockey next week. I will be at Nationwide Arena on Wednesday. Super psyched about that. Yeah. Love you guys. Good luck to everyone this upcoming week, except for Skip. See you later.
You can't hold nothing from me. I got a whole lot of money.